It was a quiet Thursday morning when the revolving glass doors of Marlowe Industries opened to admit a figure that was startlingly out of place. Amid the sea of sharp suits and polished shoes, a little girl, no more than 7 or 8 years old, walked in with an oversized backpack and a crumpled manila folder clutched in her small hands. Her hair was in pigtails, her sneakers were scuffed, and her eyes held a strange kind of determination that caught the attention of everyone she passed. Security noticed her immediately, of course. You don't get far in a billion-dollar tech company without being stopped when you're under 4 feet tall and unaccompanied. A guard, kind and puzzled, knelt down to her level. "Sweetheart, are you lost? Are your parents here?" She shook her head. "No, I'm here for a job. I want to speak to Mr. James Marlowe." The guard blinked. "Mr. Marlowe? The CEO?" "Yes, I have a resume." There was silence for a beat before the man let out a chuckle, glancing at his co-workers as if to say, "What now?" But something about the girl's serious expression made him hesitate. With a soft sigh, he gently took her hand. "Come on, let's go talk to the receptionist." Upstairs on the 48th floor, James Marlowe stood at the window of his office, staring blankly at the Manhattan skyline. At 45, he was one of the most powerful men in the tech industry. But power, as he'd learned, didn't protect you from heartache. It had been 3 months since his wife passed unexpectedly, and his once boundless ambition had dulled to a quiet hum of monotony. Even his assistant had grown cautious around him, afraid to disturb the delicate balance he tried to maintain each day. When she buzzed his desk to announce a visitor, he expected a board member, maybe a last-minute investor. "Not a child, sir," she said hesitantly. "There's a young girl here. She says she has a resume for you." James turned slowly. "A girl?" "Yes, sir. About 8 years old." He frowned. "Call her parents. This isn't a place for," she insisted. Said it was urgent. That it's about kindness. James paused. Kindness. It was a word he hadn't heard lately. With a sigh of mild curiosity, he nodded. "Send her in." The door opened, and in stepped the little girl. She walked confidently across the vast room and stopped in front of his desk. Without a word, she handed him the manila folder. James opened it slowly, expecting doodles or nonsense. Inside was a piece of paper with crooked typing that read, "Resume, Lily Thompson. Age 8. Skills, reading, helping, baking cookies. Special interests, making people smile." He looked up, bemused. "Lily, is it? Why are you here?" She looked him straight in the eye. "I need a job. My mommy says we have to be brave when we want to make a difference." His heart twisted, and before he could stop himself, he asked, "Make a difference how?" And then came the sentence. The sentence that knocked the wind out of him. "Because you helped my mommy once, and I want to help you now." James stared at her. "I helped your mother?" Lily nodded. "A long time ago, before I was born. She said when she was homeless and had nothing, a man gave her a chance. He gave her a job and a safe place to sleep. That man was you." His breath caught. Images flickered in his memory. A young woman, desperate, drenched in a thunderstorm, applying for a janitorial position late one night. Yes. Her name had been Megan. He had barely thought about it since. She said you saved her, and she worked hard every day after that. She met my dad here. He was a delivery guy. They built everything because someone believed in them. But now, she's sick, and we don't have insurance anymore because Daddy, he died last year. The room was so quiet that even the hum of the city below seemed to fade. James stood and walked around the desk. He knelt in front of her. "Why didn't she come herself?" Lily's voice wavered. "She can't get out of bed anymore, but she said, if I ever needed help, to go to the man who taught her what kindness looked like." James's throat tightened. He hadn't cried in years, not since the funeral. But now, tears welled in his eyes. He scooped Lily up into a gentle hug, something inside him cracking open. "You have no idea what you've just reminded me of." That very day, James cleared his schedule. He and Lily drove to a modest apartment in Queens, where Megan lay frail and gaunt, but with the same spark in her eyes he remembered. She wept when she saw him, and he held her hand, promising her she wasn't alone. The next weeks unfolded like something out of a different life. James had Megan moved to the best medical facility. He hired round-the-clock care and made arrangements for Lily to live with a caring family friend who had once worked in Marlowe's accounting department. But that was just the beginning. Inspired by Lily's courage and her mother's story, James launched a new division within Marlowe Industries, the Second Start Initiative. It offered training, housing, and job placements for single parents, people in crisis, and those who just needed someone to believe in them. Lily became the heart of that initiative. Her story spread across news outlets and social media, touching millions. Emails poured in, people sharing how one act of kindness had altered the course of their lives. James changed too. He began speaking openly about grief, resilience, and humanity. The board worried at first that he was becoming too emotionally driven. But Marlowe Industries soared, not just in profit, but in purpose. Staff turnover decreased, productivity rose, and a culture of compassion took root in what had once been a sterile corporate environment. Lily visited the office often. Her resume, framed and proudly displayed behind James's desk, served as a reminder to everyone who saw it, not of qualifications, but of heart. Years passed. Megan recovered enough to live a quiet life with dignity. Lily grew smart and fearless, shaped by the kindness that had cradled her in her darkest moment. On her high school graduation day, she stood on a stage in front of thousands. James was there, of course, sitting in the front row, clapping with tears in his eyes. "I used to think kindness was something soft," Lily said into the microphone, her voice steady. "Something small, but it's not. Kindness is powerful. It changes people. It changed me. And now I want to spend my life changing others." The crowd erupted in applause, and somewhere in the echo of that ovation, the world tilted a little closer, toward the good. All because a little girl walked into a millionaire CEO's office with a resume and one sentence that made him cry. The story is now written and ready for you to review or build upon. Let me know if you'd like to expand any parts, adjust the tone, or adapt it for a different format, like a screenplay or podcast.